Alrighty, y'all. I'm gonna wear the headset this time. I'm not getting out my microphone and doing all that. I wanted to do one quick video. I showed the video Friday night of this offense that I absolutely love. And I've been playtesting it. I've gotten 3 games in so far, and it's still a little choppy the first 2 games. The offense did exactly what it's supposed to. It's just my play needing to be able to understand the deck. And this defense is just characters pretty much minus plot, so that's something I wanted to show and talk about. Just a couple tweaks I made. But going to main topic is like this is a sequence offense, so being able to know this is a very difficult offense to play. You need to know which weapons goes on who and how to manipulate them and what you need to do. It's very aggressive. It's very fast. Seeing all the lines of play. And then from a defensive standpoint, with just how I'm seeing things that are shaking up, I do think this is one of the best decks in the meta. I think if you know how to block nativity, like there's a couple defenses that you can. Get rid of Stable and get rid of Mary. And then you play the negate war with them, or like what I like to do is I like to take out multiples of their heroes and not put them in special initiative, and then drop Glory Lord. So if you get rid of that best stable. This same thing goes with Joshua. If you can take a few of those heroes, and then just drop that Glory and get those heroes out of the way. Even though you want to use Glory offensively, you will be using Glory offensively in the mindset of you stopped their attacks. So now you can win. So it helps you win. If they're just going to keep getting cards and advantage and attacks and resources, you're playing a losing battle. So this deck has one play for that. It goes Heyman to plot, and I try to pop 3 and then play Glory, leave 1 in there. Or I don't even need to do that. If it's Heyman and plot, then I just CBN. It depends if Coliseum's down. I know Babu needs Tim playing Coliseum right now. Coliseum really hurts this because it negates protect abilities. And really, I'm just trying to do a bunch of chump blocks with characters. Turn 1, right now, my opinion is turn 1, you need to have a chump block. There's just, these offenses are doing too much. You need to be able to go out there, here's Woman of Thebes, and just move on with your turn. Don't give them anything else. But then again, Stone Carriers, really nothing you can do there. They're just going to flip it to Captain and negate, which is why I have negate characters and then a CBI Heyman. So if there is Stone Carriers and they go to Captain, can't negate them. I get plot. I have initiative. So I do think a Blood Avenger could go in here. That's a real good one. Draw 2 die. But a Blood Avenger, Heyman's plot, and Woman of Thebes has just quick blocks and move on with your life in the game. I think they're really good. We took out Darkness from this, or we took out Lawless and brought in Darkness because of Uzza. And we can play Blood Avenger and take out Disoriented if we want and bring in Lawless and just get more consistency. So I'm just playing around with defenses. If you want to slam a Harrods package in here, you can. You can play Thieves. I really like having Zacchaeus in this build when I have Sorted and Possessing, and Zacchaeus chipping away if I want as well, just because of Jehu. But you can fit one random hero. Like you can fit, Jehu can go to anything. So if you want, you could play like a Toss the Next. You can do that. You just don't really need any of that. But you can add one other hero to this instead. Everything else is all about consistency. This deck is blazing fast. I wanted to talk about the defense of having a block turn 1. And they can still come at you with like Lord's Army, Guardians from Glory. They're real popular now. So if you give yourself those few different blocks, like whether it's Blood Avenger, and I probably will put Blood Avenger in here instead of like, I don't need all these Moss, Uzza, Firefoxes. I don't need all those. So probably Moths out, Blood Avenger in. So we'll do that real quick. Blood Avenger in. And we'll go to Moths real quick. I like Moths. Just discard their artifact and, protect Lost Souls. It's really good. But it is contingent on a draw, and it is negatable. They are tough to negate, though. But yeah, I like Blood Avenger instead. That gives me a different option and keeps my brigade. No, doesn't really do anything with my brigades. Matthew eats this deck up, but I just go in, protect Lost Souls against Matthew turn 1. They draw a bunch. I draw a bunch. We tango. I think as I find the right defense, I think this is right there at the best deck. You can say Nativity and Herods because they have Herodias and Akeem, and they can negate neutrals, and they can stop you from your reserve. You can bring in Herodias and play Herods here. You just lose the negate neutrals. However, you just negate so much and do so much so quickly that I don't necessarily care. So yeah, I'll give you another quick run through. And if you saw the video if you saw it Friday offensively, I'm not really going to show too much more. I'm going to talk about the reserve changes I made. And we did bring in 20 shekels. I knew that needed to go in all along. I just wanted to test around the deck and kind of get there. We're doing the Naharai shenanigans. And I do have David Stronghold, which I can't always get because the only way I have it is Covenant with David or Crowd's Choice. But the deck is so fast that a lot of times I have Covenant with David and I didn't need to get my fortresses, so I can use it for Stronghold. Or I didn't need my Crowd's Choice because the deck is so fast that I can Crowd's Choice to Stronghold. But that's the only way to it. We could take out a weapon for David's Descendant, and that helps with the star ability for your opening hand, and that helps with being able to play from reserve. But as of now, this is where we're at. It is at 50 and 10. So yeah, let's see. And we have our chump blocks for days with Justin Heyman's plot. You can trim this defense even more and just bring in like a DOU on like a couple pale green characters. Just look for those just quick blocks. You can do it with Thieves too. Bring with the Thieves defense I was playing with Restless Spirit and Suicidal Swine in reserve. Go quick to Restless, grab Stampede. Anytime you can just flip Lost Souls back, especially turn 1, it's good. But this draws so much that I didn't really care. I'd rather just get characters that I can play and get some blocks off. I don't know if I need all these. Adoni Bezek, get this card to opponent's territory to add an Evil Canaanite from deck or reserve to battle, and it's CBP. So it helps me to get out my Woman of Thebes. And then I want to be able to go back and get a Canaanite from deck or reserve. I could also go Foreign Wives. I think, and I have 20 shekels to Bouncer. I think one of these should go out, and the one where I can like just take my Woman of Thebes and band her right back in should go in. But like I said, just playing around. I could also take out a probably Crafty Gibeonites and just bring in another card, another offensive card, if I really wanted to. There's a lot of flexibility in this deck. So even though it's a tight 50, you have a lot of wiggle room with the defense. This thing can get a lot of blocks. And this is how defenses used to look in Redemption for years. I was texting Jay and I was like, I don't know why people don't just play this. It still works. You can just splash a defense together. We're going to see less Matthew. I still haven't seen Queen T. I do think her time to shine will be later on. I do think Brown defense is good, and what Jaden's doing with just, here's a card, ban to Queen T, that's devastating. I have thought about using that defense with this offense, but it just works. This offense is so fast that I could easily just draw what I need and have Joykin and Queen T and just get that thing rolling. And my blocks are just, your deck's gone. That's probably, I'm going to have another version. What I'll do is bring in some sort of Brown defense in with ways to get the evil characters and really just get Queen T and try to massacre your deck. I think with Brown Queen T in this offense, if Hendrix watches, I think he'll love it. And he does a good job of watching content. I don't want to say like if he watches, like he's not. He's very, very busy. Poor guy works 60 hours a week at least. So yeah, this is just a phenomenal deck. It does a lot, and so I do think more people will play it, just not yet. I think they have to see more of it, but let's see. So from a turn 1, we never need Joshua's sword turn 1 because we just go to Officiators turn 2 and equip it, so we kind of want that to go underneath. We have all these characters are the same, right? So we don't need all of them. We really just need Woman at the Bez, so we can show our hand, so to speak. And it's which one do we want? Do we want to keep the hand look, or do we want to keep Adoni? Adoni's a CBP that can go to Foreign Wives. So I have a Melekite Slave, Blood Avenger, Woman at the Bez, and a CBP Foreign Wives in my hand. So that's why I chose that one. Not a good hand, honestly. I would hope I wouldn't go first here, because I would love to just go bloop, draw 2. What are you doing, Tyler? Play Redemption. Draw, replace your hustle, and just die if it's a lone hero. Blood Avenger isn't good against Joshua. They're going to Stone Carriers and come back in and just negate. So you do have to know if they have a Stone Carriers. If they attack with really anyone else, you just Blood Avenger and die. After that, we draw 3, and we have Zion, but we don't have a way to get our royalty hero out. And right now we only have, we'll have Joshua and Captain and Joshua's sword, but we don't have, see, if Disoriented was Lawless, or if Disoriented was Darkness instead, I could get Jehu. But yeah, this isn't a great opening hand. Honestly, it's the worst one. I've goldfished about 25 times, and I've played 3 games with it. This is the worst hand I've had. You can go Captain to Stone Carriers as well and have that negate neutral and then bring in Joshua. For this, it's the same point. I like just going straight to Joshua here and at least having a draw 3. So even though I don't have Unity Human Heroes as royalty, I can still have that, which isn't bad. So what I would do here is we get the draw 1 off the sword. We could pop something in their territory, and I could draw 2 off Captain. I don't have anything, so if they could block me, like if they could scatter me, I can't really do anything there. Zion now does nothing for me, so I don't have a way to bounce both Captain and Joshua, but I can keep Zion in my hand for now, just in case, like if my heroes died. So that one wasn't great, and we just want to be aware of they can use our heroes right now. So from here, just a Woman at the Bez. And I would go Woman at the Bez. I would take Gibeonite Trickery and give you a Woman. I draw 3, and now we have everything. I mean, that was a weird hand, but so make sure you look at your actual hand first as I'm moving mine around. Look at your actual hand, because we're going to go into Storehouse and see what we need. And right here, just Captain Sword. I mean, we can go to You Will Remain and have You Will Remain active as well. Like, that's something we can do. And we have David. So we have David Stronghold as well. So we can go Cub David and go to David Stronghold. And that's just really nice to have. We're going to want to look at their hand and play an evil character down, and we're just going to zap them, you know. And we have Azahel, so Azahel can go to Abishai. don't really want to do that, to be honest. We're going to want to Crowd's Choice instead, because we're going to bring... Oh, yeah, we're gonna go to Jehu. So we have our Jehu. Unfortunate about Zion. I would have had everything. So now from here, I wanted Azahel to go to Naharai. And what you can do, when you start getting Jehu with a weapon, well, I'll show you when I do it. So Azahel is going to flip, and the weapon remains. So he will go here and go to Abishai, one of the coolest looking cards in the game. I like when Jaden was doing a live opening. Anytime it's like a guy with the long hair and the beard, it's always Gabe, right? It's an ongoing joke about some cards that look like Gabe. And so Jaden did his live stream, and I was like, it's Gabe with abs. And then Jaden was like, well, that assumes you know Gabe doesn't have abs. So that made me laugh. What do we want to take here? There's a lot that I like to have. I like having Spears because it stops my defense. So I liked seeing that. Deceiver's still an ongoing card that's probably always going to be played, right? So Spears is great against Deceiver. I like having this I Am Refuge because it ensures I have Throne of David next turn. But even though I don't get to use it, it's still nice to have. I got the protection, and I can get a card with David in the title, so Harp, and activate it on David. So then I can shuffle. I haven't used a draw this turn, so I draw 2, and now I get the ban. Oh, I drew 2 preemptively. Sorry, I knew David's Chariot was coming in, so I will put those back and do it the correct way. So a Dino Spear hits. I get to discard an evil character from a deck, and now I get to go into the next play. So Jehu will go first, and we will go to the Commander, Joshua, and we get to take Joshua card from reserve. I can take Caleb and get an additional draw 2, but since I'm drawing so much, I can get Foreign Wives right now. So I like to have Joshua's command. We don't need the draw 2. We like to have it. We get the draw 1 off the sword, and then we also get to discard a card in their territory, except a character. We get the paralysis. We get the draw 2. We don't have the draw 3 on Captain right now. And if we drew into Stone Carriers, we'd be able to. But we can still do some more drawing and get to Stone Carriers with Jehoshaphat if we want. So Jehu's in territory. And it doesn't matter if they do a like Pontius Pilate, which we're just not even seeing anymore, which is wild to me. But like Herod the Great he can't bring in Jehu. Like you can't bring him back in. And like I said, with Goliath doesn't hurt this because I keep David and Abishai in battle and reserve has Caleb. So I can still keep 3 heroes in battle against a Goliath. Okay, so from here, David can go to an OT Red Warrior from reserve as one of the options. So I can go to Eliezer. And that's where I was saying Azahel can go to Naharai, and any weapon on Jehu, like if I usually put a discard an evil character from a deck on Jehu or discard an evil enhancement. So Eliezer's sword or Dino Spear goes on Jehu. I'll go to Azahel. Jehu exchanges first. This is why the sequence is so important. Jehu will exchange first. Jehu will be in territory with the weapon. So Jehu will get his ability, plus the weapon ability will go off. Then Naharai will bounce it. And you can do this with Jehu's sword too. Then Naharai will bounce the weapon into territory, and he can equip an OT purple weapon. So now he can bounce a Dino Spear, Eliezer Spear, or Jehu's sword. He can bounce it and equip it to himself. So then he gets to equip it, and guess what? I get the 2 discards. So I get to discard 2 evil characters from your deck, 2 evil enhancements from your deck, or I get the Jehu's sword twice. It's really, really strong. You're going to be out of stuff in 2 turns. I mean, just being honest, you're going to be out of your best 2 characters. Like right away, and then I'm going to paralyze your other one. I'm just not seeing this really get blocked. It can. And then Jehoshaphat can come in, and if I'm worried about them doing anything, I can bounce Jehu. I have to bounce someone. and then I can continue banding if I had someone else. Because of that turn 1, this is considered weak for me with this offense. So I discarded an evil character from a deck. I drew 2, 3, 4, 5. I searched. I got out a hero. Looked at your hand, paralyzed. Got out reserve enhancement. And if you had anyone to ban to, I would bring them in with Jehoshaphat. So this is considered weak. There's no foreign wives or no protection or anything that you can do to stop this. If you had protection that came in, I could just Joshua's command you, and I can negate and discard. I'm not really sure what is able to block this. You need like a Sisera, which I want in this deck with a couple more black enhancements, and I might just go to, like, I really like Phillies and Canaanites, and I might just go to a small Canaanite package with a Sisera and Struck and Scattered from reserve, and I can just bring in Sisera when I have initiative against the Joshua band and Nativity. And I might take out Disoriented for Wicked. So there's a lot of different things I'll do. I think this chumpy defense is really good. I'll probably just go full Canaanites, and do that as well, and get the beauty of Woman of Thebes, the Gibeonite Trickery, and the CBN Struck and Scattered, and then I'll take Disoriented out for Wicked. So that's not bad. Canaanites are really good. People aren't playing them yet, so they're just playing this guy. So yeah, from here, big band. I can play Great Plunder, and they still have to answer Great Plunder, and then I could still have a Joshua's Command. It's really hard when I do so much. I see your hand, paralyzing people, discarding. You could block this, but it's pretty tough. We don't need to reserve anything with Stone Carrier or with for Aimless because we have Stone Carriers. So we get the draw 3. Don't forget the tokens. And what do we not need? We don't need Joshua's Covenant, so we can discard that for Prosperity. We made a token, and we don't need to do Aimless. Put all this back. And you can switch up the dominance in here too. Like Jay was like, I really want Long Day for that offense. Just getting back Great Plunder or Weapon is really good. I think this deck does start taking over a lot of the meta. It's really fun to play. It's really fun. And it uses Joshua and 2 of the ultra rares from the set. And to be honest, if you want, you could play Canaanites, and you can play the Bounce All the Heroes in black, not Return the Captives, Go Away. And you can bounce everyone but like Joshua and Promise and Captain, and you can have Promised Land in reserve too. This Joshua goes to Promised Land. So that's something else you can do, where you can play Canaanites and you can bounce all your heroes. You bounce them. That also lets you manipulate the weapons if you put the weapons on the wrong one, which this fixes that. You have Naharai, Jehoshaphat, and 20 shekels, so you can manipulate your weapons. But if you're like, you know what, I'm just going to drop Go Away. I'm going to bounce my guys. I'm going to keep Unity for Joshua and play a Promised Land. It's really strong. It just usually it happens after the fact. It's tough to get that first, so that's why it's not in here. It is cute. It's a cute play. So from here, I like having I Am Refuge on Jehu, but we want that weapon that discards an enhancement or an evil character from a deck because we want a double trigger. Spears pretty much always goes on Eliezer. We have 11 in hand. It's okay about Zion. Like, we don't get anything with it. And we can drop our Son of God. And we can put down Stone Carriers. We have protection, so with Stronghold. And now we're at 8. And what's crazy is how fast this deck is and how heavy skewed it is to offense. Look at this defense I have in my hand. I have three ways to Foreign Wives. I have a chump block and Firefoxes. I have a Malachite Slave with to go to Haman with Plot. I really do think one of these needs to be. We need to change this. You don't need both. So Crafty Gibeonites need to go to another one. So Identifier Canaan, and we can go to Black, and we could even do a type Evil. Keep Adani. Take out Crafty. And what am I looking for? Adani does go to reserve. So we could do like a concealed, but they control my Evil Canaanite, so I can take a card in their territory, which is so good. Like a lot of people like Joshua with Thieves. Anything where you can just hit them, like take their stuff, is good. Joshua with Canaanites is good. If I just keep going concealed, that's nice. May ban to your Canaanite, or you may play a Canaanite from deck. So how this works is I give you Woman of Thebes, and then I go, and then next turn I go Concealed Canaanite. You control an Evil Canaanite, so I get to take a card in their territory. Well, now I took my Woman of Thebes. I get the ban to your Canaanite. Well, I took it. Now it's mine. Or I could play a Canaanite, which I'm just going to take my Woman of Thebes, ban to my Woman of Thebes, and put her back out if I want. Or I take a card in your territory and drop a Give Trick. So that's the better play that should have been in there. To where Crafty shouldn't be. But yeah, I have so many blocks. What's really nice about Crafty though, are his numbers. An 04 that gets to drop this is really good. So maybe Concealed goes to reserve, because this also exchanged to Deco reserve. I don't know. We got options, but being able to go 04 to a 06 stalemate with a hand look is always nice. Either way, I feel like I'm blocking. So Darkness doesn't trigger. It does trigger our Lost Souls. And we would still get, we can underdeck to draw one. Now, if we do this, we lose our draw two. So we have 10 cards left in deck. Honestly, we're going to deck out anyway, but we don't need to underdeck one to draw one. And then we go to Upkeep, which is Storehouse. And we could take God is with you. We can activate Harp on David and take You Will Remain. And if we want, we could activate You Will Remain. Or we can 20 shekels Captain Sword. We have a Buckler and an Angel of Lord. It's pretty tough to beat at this point. And I'm going to draw into a Glory. So I don't really think it matters. I think I'd just look at their hand. We can take a good warrior weapon from deck. We can give them all protection. So we could do that. And we want to 20 shekels. Do we want to 20 shekels our own guy? If we need to manipulate a weapon anywhere. Jehu's going to have Eleazar's sword on him. Yeah, I don't think we need to bounce our own guy. If we just need to bounce theirs and bounce their evil character, and if it's their only one, play their, whatever we got to do. So from here, we have the entire onslaught, and this is just my favorite part of the offense, to where we go, Abishai will search for the last weapon in the deck. We can shuffle, and this is turn 3, and where I say this thing hits every single time I deck out by turn 3 with this. And we want Jehu to always happen first. So once you know the sequence, and that's what Tim and I were talking about when we were playing, once you know the sequence, you know what you're doing. So Adino Spear triggers. So we can do the count again, right? Like how many things are we how many net? What's our net? So Adino's Abishai searched. So we got a search. So we got one card. Adino Spear discarded an evil character from your deck. And I'll count only in battle ability, like cards that we net, whether we subtract one from you or take one for us. And then we went Jehu. and we exchange Jehu, which means you have to discard a evil card from hand or territory, and because he used an ability, a weapon, or an OT enhancement, and then I get to discard an evil enhancement from your deck. And if you had deck protection and I wanted to discard an evil enhancement, I could just woes. And then he exchanges to Joshua, who takes a Joshua card from reserve. So we took another, and then Joshua's sword, and I get to ban, but first Joshua's sword, so I drew one. And then I get to discard a card in your territory except for a character. And then Joshua gets to ban and goes to captain of the host. And I do have my stone carriers down, so I get to draw 3. So first I negate an evil card, and then I draw 3. And so that's 1, 2, 3. And then we get to paralyze, which I count as they lost something. They don't get to use that evil character. And then captain can ban, and we can bring... we're going to want officiators in. And I can take their fortress. And then I can ban to a Joshua human. And I get to negate a neutral card. And he can still go to Caleb if I want and get a draw 2. It's just important to keep everyone in the band. So David comes in. And David's chariots does not matter. Nor can I do it. Eleazar with spears to... Jehoshaphat, and we don't want to bounce Jehu because we're going to do whatchamacallit. We're going to manipulate. We pretty much always bounce Woman at Thebez. And what's nice is our captain's sword can paralyze our own Woman at Thebez, or we can negate her. So Woman at Thebez should never work against us, whether it be spears, stone carriers into captain if we have to, but negating her at first because 20 shekels is going to play her, or if it's mine over there, she should never work against us. So now OT heroes are protected from the next evil enhancement. And then I'll go Azahel, and he can exchange to reserve, which is Naharai. And Naharai may draw 2 or negate an evil card. So we can draw 2. And then... you may bounce a weapon, which I think that would mean you bounce and equip, but I think it would have to go to your hand and then to equip it. Yeah, so it would bounce to your hand and then equip, and our hand's max, so we wouldn't be able to do it. Whoops. So I would not have drawn 2 there, and I would have bounced Eleazar's sword. We're putting those back. And that's just playing the deck. It's very complicated. You got to know everything that's happening and what you're doing. So then I would bounce Eleazar's sword to my hand, and then I can equip an OT purple weapon, and I would then... So if we could draw 2 there, if our hand wasn't full, we could have drawn 2 and add it to the counter, but then we discard an evil character from their deck. Or an evil enhancement, sorry. So we discarded an evil character, we paralyzed an evil character, we negated a bunch of stuff. We have a ton of resources. There's no there's no protection that's really going to stop us. Because Eleazar's sword is negating protection. I don't know what's stopping this. It's so fun to play, and it's so cool to just have all of these heroes in battle with weapons, and popular heroes too. Popular in the game of Redemption, Captain of the Hosts, and then popular in the Bible with David and Joshua, and then new art. With ultra rare, it's just you're doing so much and you have so much going on. Throwing a David, and then we can put Jehu's sword on Jehu, and we can Adoni Bezek down. I don't really know what else. Like put Woman at Thebez. We don't need the Deceiver, and at this point. And would play Second Coming. So now I didn't have Glory, but I don't think they were blocking that anyway. We can just say we used Angel Lord and keep Thebez in our hand. So they have to be able to stop Woman at Thebez. So if they come in with Guardians from Glory, then I just go 3 woes. And I play Woman at Thebez. And they have to play 3 woes on her. And if they come in with something different, unless they have like a Glory of the Lord, I have Haman with plot. And I still have chump stuff to where I can 3 woes and chump. It's a lot they have to get around. We go into upkeep and we take our last card. You may take up to 1 top deck or under deck. Since it's hopper and we take it and not draw it, it wouldn't work. So we can just leave that at the top of our deck. And then we go into storehouse, which we know there's not an enhancement in there, so there's no need. It should just be Caleb and Azahel. So we don't need to do a search there. There's nothing for David's harp. I don't even know. Oh, I hid my artifacts. So at this point, do we want to keep 20 shekels to death? Like keep playing stuff and paralyzing them? Or do we think they're going to have something? Tim used, like I had spears, and Tim went to executioner. So I like having You Will Remain to stop executioner. You could also bring in the weapon in your reserve that discards an evil card from a reserve. That's really strong. Or you can just play Herods with Herodias. That's also good. Most of the time, like they have to get around that You Will Remain if they're running any sort of that unsuccessful. But they don't. I'm telling you, they don't have evil characters to block. So get that. If you need to, you could always bounce if you need your protect up front, because you can't Adino Spear if their deck's protected, but we take all their stuff. Like we take their fortresses and their and we discard their artifacts with Joshua's sword. So usually they're not protected, so we get to just discard an enhancement. Most people are only playing a few enhancements, and if you pop their main one, they really can't block. It's just how people are playing right now. Enhancements don't matter is the word on the street. So David, we know to go Jehu, and the whole reason I'm showing this again is just repetition for people. So Jehu first, and he goes to Joshua, who can take Caleb. Joshua can ban to a Joshua hero, so we know that's captain, and we know we can draw that, which also gives us that. We paralyze, and we can take, and we can bring Caleb in here, and we can stone carriers, just to where they're all in battle, because why not? And that's just 1 leg, right? And then we go into Eliezer, Jehoshaphat. If Woman of Thebez was over there, we could bounce her. We can bounce ours. Or we can bounce our Naharai, and he can do the double Jehu sword, but it doesn't really matter. So Eliezer's sword comes in, and boom! I want more weapons for gold. I'm just wondering like which one. Like Ehud's dagger is really good. It's just what do I from a reserve perspective? Like should Captain's sword come out, and I just bring in Ehud's dagger? I'm not sure. I like the old Joshua sword too, but this one's just so much better. So yeah, they would have to be able to block that. More than likely, if any sort of like protection comes out, blow that up and have the woes to back it up too. I still have an Uzzah block. I still have Haman plot. I also have Uzzah, say Mayanish. Souls are protected. I play plot on the heroes I need to be high enough and drop my glory. So you got to know how to beat Nativity and Joshua. Like kill Joshua as quickly as you can, or take him, and never give him up. But Joshua's good at getting back their stuff with Promised Land. So it's just tough to keep your hand protected right now with some stuff that's coming out, which honestly is I kind of like it. So yeah, I think this is really, really good. I wanted to show it again. just the tweaks I made, but really I'm showing one of the defenses to where you can play defense in Redemption by not really playing defense. So this is an old school defense mentality. You don't need to have a ton of cards. I know a lot of people are still playing Herods. I think Thieves are really good still. It's just with Stone Carriers, with Captain running around. I think they kind of beat up on my defense a little bit. So I like having this kind of stuff. And even Blood Avenger, I can come in once I take their best stable. I can or negate their stable. I can go in and kill Mary in a banding chain. So you got to know who to take out against these top offenses. Not seeing people play clay piles right now. I'm seeing some purple. Some people are playing with purple, which is cool. It just the decks aren't fully out there. And I'll probably mess around today with Jaden's Jehoiakin Queen T defense in this, and that can just be absolutely devastating to where I just take out everything that you own and love. It's probably, I have a feeling that might be my favorite deck is when I take this offense with Brown Queen T. I think that'll be my favorite. No requests for this deck yet. I am surprised, so I'm hoping someone plays it. But no, don't just build this thing and go to a tournament. Like, don't just throw this into Lackey and be like, all right, I'm going to play this in the Grand Prix. You have got to go through this and get the sequencing. So, I hope you enjoyed, and a new take on a defense. I'll have tons of versions of this deck with Canaanites, Queen T, this build, Herods. You could also do Gray. Herods gives you Delivered, Daenerys, and Emperor Augustus. That's very, very good. With Thebes, you get Zacchaeus, which Zacchaeus is really good in this one too. So there's just all sorts of different stuff to do. If you want to do the choose the blocker, like you bring in the Canaanites, and then bring in someone to choose. And you could always do that at the end, whether it's Jehoshaphat needing to ban to him or Jehu exchanging to him. Because I can do this entire portion. Get over here. I can do this entire portion on just one quote-unquote leg of the band, right? So this Abishai to David to Eleazar to Jehoshaphat, and I just leave Naharai out, and then I can go to the Joshua to Captain, Officiator, Caleb, Stone Carriers, and then Jehu can flip to Zacchaeus, Jephthah's daughter, Jephthah, John the Fisherman, Eliad with Zerubbabel. If you can fit those two, you can do that as well. So I do wonder if I need Zerubbabel and Eliad in here, and just boom, good to go. I could also like Jotham the Mighty with Eliad, and Eliad can go into reserve. So once I get a Meek hero out, boom, I got Eliad as well, and I can put Eliad at the end with Eleazar or Jehoshaphat. So there's still more ways you can go. I'm just wondering how much is too much, and tossing is usually better. But if I can just hit them with a Jehu sword, all this stuff, play their characters down, paralyze, and then hit them with Eliad as well. But that's Jay's version of this offense was Zerubbabel with Eliad, and I think you can still do that easily in here. So it's really people get to take this offense and which way do they want to go? Do they want teaching in parables? Do they want promised land and reserve? Do they want amazing faith? Do they want and go more gold? It all depends on what their flavor is. So you can take Naharai out and do a different hero. But yeah, I love it. It's super creative. It's fun, and really, really strong. And it's the most consistent, fastest deck in the game. And you can just mix and match the defenses as well. And depending on who you bring in, can also influence what defense you have. So if you watch this much, if you watched Friday and you watched today's, hope you learned something new. Mostly I was trying to show the defense of a different way to defend, and showing you some tweaks I made to this deck. So thank you all for watching, Appreciate y'all. Bye bye.